Welcome to the Creating a Successful Business podcast, the show where you'll be encouraged to start your own business. And now, here is your host, Raf Calderon.
Hi, welcome to episode number 1 of CaSB. I am your host, Raf Calderon. This is the podcast where you'll be encouraged to start your own business or make your existing business more successful. I want to share with you my journey as I create my online business from scratch. Each week, I'll feature interviews with entrepreneurs and influencers. We'll provide inspiration and resources with the ultimate goal to help you create your own successful business. There are many other things you could be doing with your time right now, but you are choosing to listen to this show, and for that, I am grateful. In this first episode, I want to share with you who I am, what this podcast will be all about, and why I'm starting it. My hope is that after listening to this introductory episode, you will find it interesting and will want to subscribe to the additional episodes that will be following. I wasn't born in this great nation, the United States, though I am a proud citizen now. I was born in the Dominican Republic in the city of Santo Domingo. We Dominicans are proud of our place in history because Santo Domingo holds the title of first in many categories. For example, it was the first colonial city in the New World. In it were built the first cathedral, the first fortress, and the first university in the Western Hemisphere. Today, the Dominican Republic is known more for its beaches, its music, merengue and bachata, and its professional baseball players, such as Sammy Sosa, David Ortiz, and Alex Rodriguez. I, however, am not a baseball player, and I am not a good dancer. When I was 12 years old, my parents made that decision that so many other millions have made to emigrate to the United States to provide a brighter future for their families. So, at 12 years old, my family relocated from the Caribbean to New England, and I began the long process of assimilation into American society. This included learning English, for you see, in the Dominican Republic, people speak Spanish, and though my parents provided a middle-class lifestyle, this did not include English school. When I came to America, we settled in the city of Haverhill, Massachusetts. Haverhill is an old mill town north of Boston. At one point, 1/10 of the shoes produced in the USA were made in Haverhill. It is also one of the main inspirations for the setting of the Archie comic book. Quite a change in scenery from the hot Caribbean to the cold New England winters. But I loved it. I loved living in America, and there was never a time when I disliked the cold winters. Now I enjoy winter sports such as skiing and snowboarding. After living in Haverhill for 4 years, my family relocated to New Jersey, where I've lived ever since. So, on top of moving to a different country, I now also had to attend a different high school. I ended up going to 3 different high schools by the time I graduated. For me, this all seemed very normal, and I never realized how uncommon it is to move so much, except maybe for military families. Upon graduation from high school, I was accepted at a 4-year college through a program called EOF, Education Opportunity Fund, that provides support services to students from economically and educationally disadvantaged backgrounds who attend institutions of higher education. So grateful for the opportunities that I've received in this country, and I didn't let them go to waste. Though I was accepted to a 4-year school, this was no free ride. I had to pay my way through, which I accomplished through odd jobs and student loans, which I have paid in full without missing one payment. After 4.5 years, I graduated with a degree in electrical engineering. So, with diploma in hand, I launched my career into the world of technology in corporate America. In the 18 years that have passed, I have worked for large and small companies. I worked 4 years for a national defense contractor as a systems engineer doing testing and design for the Navy's Aegis radar system. I worked at a startup company. I worked many years for a large national cable provider, and I worked for an Israeli telecommunications company as a platform developer. I have been an IT consultant, and I currently work for a major international bank maintaining their IT infrastructure. I have continuously kept my career up to date by learning new technologies and by obtaining various professional certifications in technology as well as project management. A year after graduation, I married my college sweetheart and we began to build our life together. 17 years later, we have added 4 beautiful children to our family. We have been able to build a very comfortable middle-class life. We have lived within our means and have avoided frivolous spending and credit card debt that has plagued so many. Now that you know about my background, you may be asking yourself, how did I jump from being an engineer to doing a podcast about entrepreneurship and online business? That part of the story starts the way I've heard many others start, via the work commute. I've known about podcasts for a while and enjoyed listening to them at times. At first, I listened to shows like the Dave Ramsey podcast, Michael Medved, NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, among others. These served mostly as entertainment role and a distraction from work. I never turned to podcasts as a source of education, well, maybe besides Dave Ramsey, and never really considered using the platform for myself. A few years ago, I began to read personal development books that some friends recommended. These had a good impact on me. In general, I agreed with all the points regarding positive thinking, habits, goal setting, all the trademarks of personal development. They resounded with me. Then a friend at work introduced me to some of the technical podcasts he listened to. Till this point, I had not turned to podcasts for help in my career. I began listening to them very casually and enjoyed hearing about other people working out the same challenges I faced at work. However, I didn't find anything transformational in them. Just another tool to help me in my career. Then I had the idea of looking to see if there was a podcast that might discuss motivation and self-development. During this search, I found a podcast by Jeff Sanders called The 5 a.m. Miracle. This podcast focused on building positive habits to help you achieve your goals with a special focus on getting up early. This sounded very interesting to me since I did want to get up earlier more consistently, and I knew I liked personal development. From then on, I was hooked. I loved to hear someone highlighting the habits that I admired, such as exercise, eating well, and setting goals. The bonus came when he interviewed successful entrepreneurs and seeing what habits they implemented that made them successful. To me, that was genius and totally turned me on to want to hear more. More than that, I thought I could do the same thing. I could host my own podcast and help people find inspiration and motivation. So I started finding all the other great podcasts such as Pat Flynn's, Cliff Ravenscraft, Jamie Tardy, John Lee Dumas, David Wood, among others. Among all these, Pat struck a special chord with me. I liked his presentation and his popularity for being honest. I also really enjoyed David Wood's interviews with personal development professionals, people like Lisa Nichols and Jack Canfield. My mind was made up. I was sold into the world of online content creation and sharing with podcasting as my primary medium. As I focused on this new passion, I needed to choose a topic to focus on. The competing ideas were personal development, business, the internet, and entrepreneurship. I like personal development a lot. I believe that our habits and attitudes determine how successful we will be. But to me, the end goal was applying the concepts that are discussed in personal development. Business is the place where personal development topics are put into practice. So I couldn't leave business out of the equation. Then there's the topic of using the internet for online business. I also felt that I couldn't exclude this topic because the internet is the area that matches my skill set the closest. That is the platform that I've been supporting as an engineer for so many years. And plus, I love the idea of building passive income streams, which is possible via the internet. Only that now I wouldn't just be focusing on technology, but actually learning how to use the technology to run a business. Then it dawned on me, I didn't have to select one of these categories in favor of the others. Therefore, this podcast will be about 4 main topics: business, entrepreneurship, internet, and personal development. Each week, the podcast will focus on 1 or 2 of these topics. In general, the shows will be about 40 minutes in length. The idea is to make a program long enough to bring you value, but not too long that I'll lose your focus. The format of the shows will be as follows. There will be a brief introduction to the program. Then I'll share something regarding my business ventures or some other detail so that you'll know what I'm up to. Then we'll have the main feature of the day. This will be typically an interview with a successful entrepreneur, but every now and then it'll be just me if I need to share something special with you. After the main segment, we'll wrap up the show and let you know what will be coming up the next week. One more thing I'd like to add is that as I discover resources that I find useful, I will share them with you and links of affiliates. I want to summarize the reasons I decided to do this podcast. The first is that I want to help you start your business. I believe starting your own business is one of the ultimate achievements in a profession or trade. Once a person starts thinking like an entrepreneur, everything changes. All of a sudden, a desire for learning appears and motivation to achieve goals surface. I think of this moment as waking up. Some people go through their daily routines as if they were asleep, without much passion or motivation. This is not the case when you think like an entrepreneur. Suddenly, you see opportunities around you and you ask yourself, where have I been all this time? Why didn't I start earlier? And this is fine because now time has a new special meaning and you don't want to let it get wasted. The second reason is to help you be more successful in your current career. I believe that being a leader within your current place of employment is very similar to running your own business. That is, if you place yourself in a position of leadership where you can steer the direction of your organization and make it so that you can get compensated according to the effort you're putting in. The purpose of this podcast is not to encourage you to drop your responsibilities and pursue some wild dream. Quite the opposite. It is to awaken a desire in you to maximize your potential and use all the skills you have acquired in your life. A byproduct of this is that you'll be more successful in your 9-to-5 job if that is where you currently are. I want this show to serve as inspiration to achieve your goals. I look forward to having listeners of the podcast come on the show and share their success stories. And this will happen because this is a proven formula. I didn't invent this platform of podcasting and interviewing successful people. I'm simply one more person that has benefited from listening to good inspirational podcasts, and I feel the need to spread the word, to pay it forward. If you keep subscribing to and listening every week and take action on the things we share on this show, you will achieve success that you previously thought were unattainable. I can guarantee it. Well, almost. I am not super special, but we're all special in our own special ways. And we all have something to share. I want to use this medium to share with you the things that I've learned in life and the convictions that I have as to how to be successful in your endeavors. As I bring this episode to a close, I want to thank you for listening. This proves that you have connected with my story and my purposes here. I feel honored. And this makes me congratulate you because you have taken a step forward in your path to growth and fulfillment. But there's still a lot of fun work ahead, so subscribe for the upcoming episodes and let's continue on this journey together. I want to invite you to join our private Facebook group. You can find the link in the contact page of the website www.creatingasuccessfulbusiness.com. If you have enjoyed the show, I want to ask you to give us a rating and write a review. A 5-star rating would be greatly appreciated. This would help the podcast to be found by others. You can do this by opening the iTunes app on your computer and searching for Creating a Successful Business under Podcasts. Then click on Ratings and Reviews. This is Raf Calderon signing off. Remember, in business and in life, pursue your passion and great things will happen.
Thanks for listening. You can find out more information at www.creatingasuccessfulbusiness.com. We hope you enjoy the show. Until next time.